Happy Devils Wednesday. This is The Woo Report. The Woo Report. Episode 397, titled Cory Schneider Retires. Streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, X Live, and Twitch on the Let's Go Devils Network. Coming to you live from the Primetime Radio Studios bunker in an undisclosed location. As the Devils are in training camp, 2-0 in preseason. Coming over the wire yesterday, reports of former New Jersey Devil still on the salary cap payroll. Cory Schneider retires after a fine NHL career. We're going to talk a little bit about Cory Schneider, his tenure with the New Jersey Devils. Seeing people filing in on the Facebook Live and the YouTube Live. A little bit of afternoon woo. Just to let you know that we will resume our pregame and postgame Game Day Live and Devils After Dark on October 12th. We'll be live at American Whiskey, 51 Edison Place, across the street from Prudential Center. And it will be a great time. Will Rawson says, woo, woo. Woo, woo. And, went to American Whiskey last night. That's why I wasn't doing any woo reports. We got big things happening with this podcast. I can't reveal it right now. There's a lot of stunning news that's probably going to come out about this podcast the week before, well, maybe a few days before opening night. So I'll keep that a little bit of a secret. We haven't leaked anything out yet, and if we do, it can only be Vinny, Nick, myself, Beer Baron, and crew, for those that call him that, Scotty, and Shorts Guy. But, yeah, we got some big things happening. Also, we're in the planning stages of the big tailgate at the outdoor game. We will have some more information as the season goes along. Joey B says, good afternoon from Colorado. Good to see you, Sam Wu. Good to see you, Joey B. Peter Seifert says, hello, everyone. Peter Seifert also visits American Whiskey as well. Peter, let me tell you, we've got some big things happening at American Whiskey. Had a good meeting with Frank the Tank last night and gave me the thumbs up, the green light to do whatever we need to do to satisfy your fellow Devils fans. So we're going to be doing that very shortly. Looking forward to watching tomorrow's preseason games as well. They announced that roster. We will get to that soon, but as far as I know, they have not. But Cory Schneider, and I think this is important. I wish I did this podcast yesterday as news came that Cory Schneider has retired from the NHL. I believe Cory Schneider is probably the most underappreciated New Jersey Devil in the history of the New Jersey Devils, because his career started in Vancouver, drafted in the first round in 2004. There were a lot of comparisons of his demeanor like Marty Brodeur, kind of the happy-go-lucky goaltender, American goaltender, and Lou Lamoriello was always watching as Marty Brodeur was breaking records back in the mid-2000s. And in 2012, the Devils went on a tear during the playoffs. It was Marty Brodeur and Moose Hedberg, combined ages of probably about almost 80, leading the Devils, the last gasp of that era. And 2013 came. After a lockout, shortened season, Devils not making the playoffs, Devils getting the NHL draft for the first time in their history. It wasn't the 2-day bender. It was 1 day, all in 1 day. because of the lockout. It was late June. A lot of Devils fans piling into Prudential Center, wanting to know who the 9th overall pick was. And Gary Bettman saying, you want to hear this? Devils make a trade. They traded that pick, which turned out to be Bo Horvat. But Corey Schneider coming to the New Jersey Devils, which fans were cheering. Fans were stunned in the crowd. And I've said this, and this is not a knock on Corey Schneider. I just felt that trade was unnecessary. But I'm not going to hold that back against Corey Schneider. Because to be in his shoes, the awkwardness of coming in to be a tandem with who some would say would be the greatest goaltender of all time, Marty Brodeur, that is big shoes to fill as he's concurrently on the timeline going into the prime of his career. And the appreciation that Devils fans should show Corey Schneider should be, I don't know what the correct word is, but I think he has been so underappreciated for so long that it's time to give Corey Schneider his due. On the ice, with pretty much, let's say, a struggling bad team, he performed like a Vezina winner, taking multiple shots on goal. His style was different from Marty Brodeur. You can't hold that against him. But he was an above-average, borderline elite goaltender for those couple years. And again, this is where I have said this, and I know a good friend of the podcast, Chico Rush, has said this, that, you know, it kind of put Corey in an awkward spot, but also was there a necessity to trade Marty? Had Marty played out his career, he may have never gone to St. Louis. The Devils would have had a higher pick as a result, and that changed history. But we can't harp on that because what came out of it was he was a team leader, Corey Schneider, and injuries started to pile up. And, you know, as what Morgan Williams says in the YouTube Live, Corey's biggest issue, which obviously is not his fault, was his timeline didn't match with the organization's. I agree with that statement, but also you can always spin it this way. When Jack Hughes was selected, who did he stay with? He stayed with Corey Schneider's family. Jack Hughes, being an 18-year-old kid, drafted first overall, needed a mentor. And just like Sidney Crosby bunking with Mario Lemieux when he was drafted, and when Sidney Crosby stayed there actually for quite a while from what I understand, and when he left the Lemieux household, Mario Lemieux's kids didn't want him to go because he's such a part of the family. So Corey Schneider took on the role of the mentor. We were joking on this podcast because that's when this podcast came about. Around that time, a couple years after that, we were joking that Corey Schneider was Jack Hughes' chauffeur. But the reality is, we owe, as fans and Jack Hughes, I'm sure he's going to say something about it, owe Corey Schneider and his family a great deal of gratitude, because Jack Hughes, you don't hear anything bad off the ice issues. And it takes a team, and it takes a mentor, and Jack Hughes, and his upbringing, his family. We could be proud that Jack Hughes is not only a leader of this team on and off the ice, but just a model citizen. And I think that's a good thing. I think that's a great thing. And Corey Schneider was part of that. And we should never forget what Corey Schneider brought to the New Jersey Devils franchise. I think we should have a Corey Schneider night. I know the Devils marketing team will love it because it just puts more dollars into the team's pockets and it gives them something to do. But also, Corey Schneider deserves it. And any fan, any Devils fan that has ever met Corey Schneider in person would know that he was a really nice gentleman. He was a nice guy. He would sign autographs. He would take pictures. I did that with Arlette one time at a season ticket holder event. And Corey Schneider, class act, first class, someone that you would want your kid to be. And I think, again, as Corey Schneider, the announcement of him retiring, also a Jennings Trophy winner in his career, he was a good goaltender. And he was a better teammate and a better human being as well. Corey Schneider retires after many years in the NHL, drafted in 2004. On behalf of the podcast, we wish him congratulations on a job well done. It didn't really work as what we wanted in New Jersey, but he did get that playoff win, I believe, when he had to come in for Keith Kincaid against the Tampa Bay Lightning. But, his hip started to go, needed that surgery, tried his best to come back, but he hangs up the skates, and, Corey Schneider. I think one of the most underappreciated Devils of all time. And I hope he gets his night and he gets his due with the team. All right, so, just programming note, we've got State of the Fan address tonight, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Two guests from NHL.com, Mike Morial, good friend of the podcast, will be on. And also another good friend of the podcast, Josh Wegman, will be on as well. We got a double whammy, double punch Wednesday of guests. Nick Villano of pucksandpitchforks.com, editor-in-chief. We will go at 8:30 p.m. Eastern tonight. So I'm not going to talk too much what's currently going on, but I wanted to do a Woo report and give Corey Schneider his due. So we'll talk more Devils hockey as they're looking good so far in preseason. 2-0, sweeping the split squad games, winning. Just amazing. This team coming together. They look good right now. But again, it's just preseason. And we'll talk a little bit more about that tonight on the State of Fan Address, presented by pucksandpitchforks.com. Hitting the music right now. Thank you for all those people tuning in. Morgan says third on Devils wins list. His 115, only 3 behind Chris Terreri's 118. And yeah, those were some bad teams that he was on. But yeah. Alrighty. I'll see you later, everybody. Dropping the podcast in about 20 minutes on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you get our podcast, Spotify, Amazon Music Prime, Audible, iHeart app. Just remember, American Whiskey, October 12th, opening night. We'll be there. Till next time, this is the Woo Report. Let's go Devils.